Thank you for everyone coming today. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce the speaker. Patrick Sweeney is probably best known as the author of RFID for Dummies, which he wrote for John Wiley & Sons in 2005, and speaks widely around the world on RFID. Second best known probably for being the founder and CEO of Odin Technologies, which he's run for the better part of the last decade, really innovating around the use of RFID for specific applications, one of which happens to be IT asset tracking, which Patrick's going to speak on today. But for this group, it's probably just as important to know that for the 10 years previous to founding Odin, he actually ran secure data centers. In fact, the last company that he ran and then sold was called Server Vault. It was actually a Tier 3 secure data center, and ran operations for the NFL, for some three-letter agencies at a time when people were just starting to outsource the data center management. So, without further ado, I want to introduce Patrick Sweeney from Odin Technologies and the author of RFID for Dummies.
Thank you. Thanks, Brett. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties getting started here this morning, but our previous speaker, who did an excellent job, was kind enough to help us out. There's a couple things that we're going to cover today. For those of you, the guys in the back row correctly picked out that we were listening to Beck, which is kind of a nice way to start the morning. And Beck's tune specifically that we're listening to, it's called Where It's At. And we use that tune when we generally start out some of the IT asset tracking scenarios, because everyone's wondering where it's at. How many folks have misplaced a server before? Everyone's kind of afraid to raise their hand, but we got a few guys who are willing to. Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we find is it's difficult to keep track of servers, and one of the big things that we hear all the time, we've got great processes in place, but sysadmins don't follow them. And they're too busy doing stuff, and so then when it comes time to either do an audit or find something, or something turns up, it's real difficult. As Brett mentioned, I wrote RFID for Dummies, and I also grew up in the data center world. My dad was one of the first guys Ross Perot hired at EDS to build data centers. So I grew up literally crawling around data centers, and he's a real pragmatic, first-generation Irish immigrant. And you kind of have on your bucket list things that you want to do when, before you go. And writing a book was always one of them. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be this one, but so I told my dad, "Hey, Pops, I'm writing a book." And I went to give him the first copy. Didn't tell him what I was writing about or anything like that. Handed him the first copy. He said, "Geez, Patty, I'm real proud of you." And I said, No, I know, Dad. I got the big head on me at this point. I said, I know, Dad. No, he said, no. I'm proud of you for two reasons. He said, number one, for actually writing a book and getting it published. And then number two, for sticking with an audience you know. And so, leave it to your dad to kind of